Well, good morning.
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 Good morning.
Morning, Ray.
Morning.
Hi there.
Ray, did you eat breakfast this morning before we started?
You know,
There has got
Not-
to be a story there. I missed Thursday night. There's got to be a story there
yeah,
between you two.
yeah. I didn't eat dinner the other night, and I was getting hangry, so I was ready to eat dinner. I actually haven't had breakfast yet, so.
Oh. Well, no
Maybe-
winking in the middle.
That's right. No,
Maybe
I've had coffee, so I shouldn't be so grumpy.
Maybe Katie and Angela will send us some purple pinky donuts for breakfast this morning.
Yeah, we did have donuts and breakfast pizza this morning.
I should have come over to LWH.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we probably should get started.
Sure.
Let's see if I can. Let's see. Who all we have here? Okay, we got a pretty good group. All right. I guess this session is being recorded. Thank you, Katie, for reminding me to record this session. And we'll talk a little bit. We'll have Ray start off and talk a little bit about local grants or district grants and the process going forward for this year. And then I'll see if there's any questions on global grants. Actually, I've got a lot of people on this call that know a lot about global grants, so I don't need to really say much myself about that. And then we'll finish off with Katie and Angela talking about our Purple Pinky fundraiser that we had this past year. So with that, Ray, I'll go ahead and let you get going here.
Sure. Let me share my screen here. So, yeah, I think everyone probably on this is familiar with district grants. Let me see here. Okay, there we go. We can see that. Okay, yeah. So a little bit about some changes. So the website, district website, awesome. I mean, the change to this new layout is just so much user friendly. In the past, so for anyone on this that has tried to apply for a district grant in the past and maybe just found it to be a little bit cumbersome, I made a little bit of a change last year where the application was able to be kind of edited. So basically a Word doc, I tried to make it as easy as possible. And because in the past you had to kind of download a PDF and then scan it in and send it in or mail it in, that kind of thing. I didn't want to deal with the mail aspect and mail delivery and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make it as easy as we could. So we basically put it in a section right under here under about the district. Really easy. You go right to the district grants tab, and then you scroll down to the committees. So it talks right here about the district grant committee. This is the information sheet. So this sheet right here, I'll open it up. We'll show you exactly what we're looking at when it comes to district grants and what we encourage people to apply them for them. Not much will get denied as a district grant, to be quite honest, as long as it's being used for the good of everyone. Going back here, the editable application makes it super easy. So you open that up, you can request up to $2,000. Some little tips when you're looking at getting a district grant or applying for a district grant. Really helpful if you are going to be putting some club money towards it. That always is encouraged. It shows participation within your club. And as long as it's something, think about something that Rotarians can participate with, and whether it's, planting trees or participating in a school. I know that's a little iffy. That's a bad example because sometimes school with access to schools. But we've had a lot of really great projects come through this last year. I think we had about 22 grants that we applied for, 20 to 22, something like that. I'm going to make one little change to this application this year. Jane doesn't know it yet, or Rachel, whoever's going to help me edit this, doesn't know it yet. But we had some checks that got lost in the mail when I mailed them out. And so we're going to put basically as this primary grant contact, I want to know who we're sending the check to, because I had to track a lot of people down last year and kind of say, where do you want the check to mailed to? And I don't want to have to do a lot of backtracking and extra work. So I'm going to put right in there where we're going to send the check to, and that'll make it really easy for you as well. Once it's completed, there's a final report. So take pictures of your project. Pictures are always really great. We like to put them in the newsletter. We like to present them at things like this. I'll show you an example of what a club did this year, because I've already gotten a report back already. You just have to fill out this final sheet right here that says what you did and how you did it. And oops, this needs to be updated because that's not Heather anymore, that's me. And it gets sent to me. So that might be why I haven't gotten a whole lot of them yet, because they're probably getting sent to Heather. But we'll fix that. But it's really, really easy to do. And we make it super easy right on the website, really easy to find. One example I'll show you here, this was the Muhammad Club, I believe. They were looking for a grant to for the schools, because they were doing, or I think it was like at a Boys and Girls Club or something. I can't remember exactly all the details, but they were doing pod learning. So they had, a small group of students that were able to go to this location and do their online learning there. And they needed dividers. So they were looking for funds to purchase these dividers. I think they were looking for funds for headsets for the kids, for masks, hand sanitizer, that kind of thing. And so they put their grant to good use with this. How am I doing on time? Am I going over? I didn't even look at my start time.
17 minutes. We've got 17 minutes left.
Okay,
you're good.
For the rest of us. Okay, I'm almost done anyway. But that's one example of a great grant in the COVID world right now. I am looking for probably 2 more committee members. We've got about 8 on right now. I looked at here, we got about 8 of us, and looking for about 2 more. So if anyone's interested in joining the committee, just please send me your information, and I'll happily talk to you about that. I'm going to mute myself, but and I'll stop sharing here. Anybody have any questions or anything you want me to kind of go over?
I do, Ray. I'm on the district website.
Yeah.
Just looking for where the application is on the district website. And I'm not seeing it. So
let me share my screen again. We'll show you that again here, because I might have breezed right through that really quick.
The reason I'm asking is we have a grant. We need to do the final report.
Yeah. So sure. So you see my screen, Deb?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back here. Let's go back to the home page. Let's just do that. So home page of the district 6490. At the top, it says about the district.
Right.
And then you just scroll down to where it says district grants.
Gotcha.
And
Thank
click
you.
on that. You're welcome. And then right in there is the final report, the document. I don't know why they have it as a PDF too. That doesn't make sense. You can just, unless you want to handwrite it, I guess, if you have a way to scan it into me. But
Ray, I've got one more question.
Yeah.
And that is, I know that one of the focuses of these grants is participation by Rotarians. And it's been a little difficult with some of the organizations that we're making grants to and participating with, to physically have Rotarians be involved. So are we being understanding about that? We're pretty lenient, and I can't remember the exact date. So 2 things happened when we were evaluating the grants this year. We were pretty lenient with that. A lot of them were
school related, and that, I mean, schools just weren't open and that kind of thing. So we were really understanding of that. And then a lot of the projects couldn't be completed within the deadline, which is June 30th. So we've extended that out. I don't remember what we extended it out to. I'd have to look at my notes, but I feel like it was like October, September, October, something like that. I can't remember. Heather Stoa knows all, so she would probably, and she remembers everything, so she might remember that conversation. Yeah, we made some concessions in that respect.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Ray? All right.
Oh, one more thing too. I would also say, if anyone has any questions, if they're thinking about submitting a grant and they're just kind of like, I'm unsure of if it's even it's something that, you know, would be worthy of a grant. Most things are, but just feel free to ask. And this, you know, don't be intimidated by the word grant either, because the application is very easy. I review them, and if there's anything that I think that we need to bulk up or add a little bit more to, I will let you know before we submit it to the committee, because I really want, I mean, we gave away about $60,000 this past year. And I feel like next year's probably going to be, I don't know, I haven't heard yet, but probably maybe around there. It's usually around 40 to 60,000 that we give away. And we want to give that money away. We don't want to let it sit there. So we're going to try to work with you to make it work.
Okay.
I'll be quiet now.
All right. No problem, Ray. Thank you. Well, let me share my screen. I'll take like 1 minute to talk through global grants. Primarily due to the fact that, since Kevin is on here and he put this slideshow together for me, I wanted to show it. Global grants are large, support large international projects with a long-term sustainable outcome for Rotary's areas of focus. They range from anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, and then there's a program of scale which goes up to $2 million. But global grants are typically in the $30,000 to $400,000. There is a requirement to have qualifications by district leadership, and that does include the local club leadership as well. And there's a memorandum of understanding that needs to be reviewed and signed off on by both the district and by club leadership. Really, anything that if you have any questions whatsoever on global grants, these are the folks to talk to. Larry Howell is our current and will be next year District Rotary Foundation Chair, and our Global Grants Chair is Kevin Yantz. So any questions would be directed to those individuals. Of course, myself this year, Heather next year. Kind of a separate global grant process is the Heart to Heart, and that's coordinated by Heather, PDG Larry Howell, and Mike Martin for the district. So if you have any interest in any of those, you can talk to those folks. So I'll stop sharing. Is there any questions in regards to global grants? There's a lot more information, but I really want to have Angela and Katie talk. And then, if we got any questions, we can follow up at the end as well. All right. Well, I'll turn it over to, I don't know, Katie, Angela. I don't know who's leading, but I'll turn it over to you guys.
Over.
Oh, okay. All right. Go for it.
I get to yak all the time, and she gets to be the creative mind. So I'm Katie. This is my partner in crime, Angela. And as most of our Paris Rotary Club projects started, this Purple Pinky project started with an idea by Mike Stebb. And so he approached Angela and I before a meeting and said, hey, World Polio Day is going to be coming up and I want to do something this year. We said, okay. And he said, have you heard of this Purple Pinky project? Which neither of us had. He said, it's fine. I've got a presenter today. He's going to tell you all about it. Pay attention. I want to do it, but I don't have time. So can you lead it up? And by the way, it's in 3 weeks. We want to have this done. No problem. So here we go. So we got a committee of 4 of us Rotarians, And we partnered with a local coffee shop that had husband and wife owners. And that was probably the most successful part, what made our project most successful. These two owners were very community minded. And once we presented the idea to them, they were 100% on board and helping us out. And one of the other reasons that we chose them is because they partner with a donut shop that's about a half an hour away and get those to town, which they're a huge hit. So we thought that would just make our job even easier of selling these donuts to raise money. So we had some meetings with the coffee shop owners to kind of work out the logistics and how it was going to happen. And we had no idea about, what was their cost per dozen. And, they helped us set our prices to maximize volume and the profits on what we sold so we could contribute in the end the most money to the World Polio Foundation. So that was invaluable to us. In addition to that, they helped us get our business list together of all the businesses in town that we wanted to contact. Several of those businesses, they were frequent customers already of this coffee shop. And so immediately they took those customers and said, we'll approach them. We'll get the sales. We're going to do this from our shop. We've got that taken care of. And from there, being accountants, we like spreadsheets. So we had our master spreadsheet of all these businesses, and we just started assigning members right down the list of who we knew had contacts already. And the next meeting, we did a presentation of our plan to the club and passed that list around, made sure that they knew that some names were already on there and had them fill in the blanks for us, and basically sent everyone on their way. We did provide them with, this is where the creative mind here comes into play. You can see the flyer that Angela designed for us. She found lots of good eye-catching images that she was able to put on there. And the backside, what you don't see then, was full of information about polio and why it's important to continue on this mission of eradicating. Well, what I found very interesting in the information, what caught a lot of people's minds, was what would happen if we stopped today. We've stopped our mission of doing this, and it talks about the number of people that would be affected. It caught the attention of a lot of people. But in addition to this, we had one other flyer then that had all of the other information on it about cost per dozen. We threw in some incentives that if we got businesses to order more, 2 dozen or more, we dropped the price by $1 per dozen and offered free delivery. That was that was a huge seller, because people who were just going to order one, immediately that changed their minds to 2, and they didn't disrupt their business day. We took it to them. So when we talked to the donut shop, our maximum limit initially was 100 dozen. So our goal off the bat was to hit that in pre-orders, because then we knew we just had it made and it was done. Well, we hit that within the first week. So it was not a hard sell to do this at all. So our coffee shop owners actually went back to the donut shop and pleaded with them to up our limit. And in the end, we sold 181 dozen within that 3-week period of getting everything together. That included 5 dozen that we just purchased to sell individually at the coffee shop that morning. That was our headquarters. And those sold out within like 2 hours. So we definitely will need to up that going forward. But in order to kind of monitor how much we had sold and when we were approaching that max, what we found very beneficial was to have one central pre-order location. So the receptionist at our office actually helped handle that. And so even our members that were out there gathering orders all the way through, they were keeping our central order person up to date so that we knew when we were approaching the max and where we were at. That helped us keep track of everything. So then as we got within, 5 days and we had a lot of our pre-orders ready, we started coming up with, okay, now we got to figure out, we promised these deliveries, how many people do we need? And starting to put together delivery teams and how mapping all that out and how it was going to work. Because obviously our goal was to get it to everyone by 9, and we had all of these deliveries to make now. So we ended up with 3 or 4 delivery teams. We tried to team them up in pairs and had it mapped out as far as who was going to, the northeast side, the northwest side, and whatnot. So that helped it out. And we used a sign up sheet at our Rotary meetings to get people to sign up to help out with that. In addition to delivery teams, we needed people to man the station at the coffee shop to help out with, keeping track of the lists and where people were going and who'd picked up and who hadn't. So we had people that manned that station. So all this time, within that short period of time, it was just promote, promote, promote. We went out, we emailed these flyers to businesses. We personally visited businesses, called them, whatever we could do at that time to get the orders. And like I said, selling those donuts wasn't real hard. People were pretty excited to do it. Okay, so on Donut Day, we had to be over in Terre Haute, Indiana at 5 a.m. So we had a very early start to our day, and it took 4 vehicles loaded to the max to get those donuts from the donut shop back to the coffee shop by 6 a.m. when they opened, and it was go time. So fortunately, the coffee shop was nice enough. They had complimentary coffee to get us going again once we got everything back to the coffee shop and unloaded. They took good care of us. We got everything sorted into piles for delivery and piles for pickup. We got all of our polio information flyers and club brochures because, of course, we wanted to promote our club at the same time in Rotary. We got everything laid out and ready, and then the people just were coming in, and our delivery teams were headed out, and it actually went very smoothly. Everyone was in. I think we had everything picked up by about 10 a.m. and delivered and good to go. So we had a great team, and like I said, the coffee shop was awesome. So for us, that's kind of what made us so successful.
Yes.
So
It was definitely a group effort on both parts.
yes, so our day consisted of lots of coffee and lots of donuts. And here's some pictures. This was our pickup stash. And we just there were some in the back. We couldn't even get them all out on the table at the same time. And some of our information and people checking our list and seeing who had picked up. So in the end, we were able to, within a 3-week project of selling donuts, our net profit was $1,500. And we were able to send a check to the In Polio Foundation. So if there's any questions about how we did it or anything like that, I think Angela's going to put our emails in the chat. If your clubs want to do this, we have flyers already made up, informational flyers on our prices, like how we did it, and the polio informational sheets. If you would like to use those, we'd be happy to share.
Go ahead.
Heather has expressed an interest in having the Purple Pinky Donuts at her district conference. So I may be in touch about what we'd have to do to do it, not as a fundraiser, just as having it, but raising awareness on it.
Sure.
What you can do. So I'll be taking down your email information and being in touch.
Sure, we'd be happy to help.
Great.
We got about a minute. Any other questions? One thing I might mention is we did. Go ahead, Deb. I'm sorry.
Well, my question was this to be a fundraiser or was this to raise awareness or both?
Both.
We did both. We wanted to, first off, we were doing a fundraiser. We wanted to make a good contribution to kind of, support the cause. And also we wanted to make sure every order that we put out there received one of those polio informational sheets that gave the statistics and where we were at now versus where we started, where we would be if people stopped, contributing to this cause, and just information about the virus itself. So it was a little bit of both. And we used it as a new member drive too. We tried to put that plug out there with it.
Would you be willing to speak maybe via Zoom to other clubs if they're interested in doing this?
Sure, yes, we can do that.
I'm thinking that our club might really be interested in doing it.
Yeah, it was a time crunch and we were stressed about it first, but we had a lot of fun doing it, and the community really responded. So
Well, and if people start planning now, you know, they would have a
yes,
lot more time
yes,
to be
yeah.
organized about it. So, well, thanks. I'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds good.
I had one quick question. Did
Sure.
the coffee shop monetarily contribute to your to the campaign, or did they just act as sort of a central location?
No,
Point.
they did. They contributed a portion of their coffee sales for that day, and they forewent any individual donut sales, and it was strictly our Purple Pinky, the donuts that day. So they really were all in for us.
Thank you.
We are thinking about expanding this to other Rotary clubs in the area. The donut shop is kind of a small shop, so we may have to alter our process. Looks like we need to leave the breakout room, so we'll see you on the other side. Well, good morning.
Good morning, Ray. I didn't know you were presenting. I would have mentioned something on Tuesday.
No, no, it's preferred that way.
So we'll just tell him next Tuesday what a great job you did.
Well, you haven't seen it yet.
I got Doug here with me too.
Oh, awesome.
Doug, I can only see one. Oh, that Doug. Okay. I could only see one eye.
One eye.
Yeah.
We're at a scout work project weekend. And so we're taking a little break from that work to do this work.
There you go. Well, thank you for being with us, Doug and Laura. Well, I guess we should go ahead and get started. This information is in regards to district or local grants. We may do just a minute or two on global grants, and then we'll talk some about a End Polio project that the Parish Rotary Club had took on this past year. So we'll get started and kind of do it in that order. So we get started with Ray so he can talk. Let's see. Am I recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this session. Well, it didn't stop. I forget how to do this between the breakout sessions, but didn't tell me to stop. So we are recording this session, so it may be available on our website at a later date. So Ray, go ahead and take over for local district grants.
Sure. So I'm the district grant chair for this year, and I'm assuming for next year. I haven't got the official word yet, but I'm assuming I'm going to be doing that for next year. I took over for Heather Stoa, which had some big shoes to fill for sure. I'm certainly not as detail oriented as she is. So everyone but we made it work this year with the grants, and I think everyone got what they needed. I'm going to share my screen just because I want to show the common questions that I'm getting are kind of how to apply for grants. And oops. Well, there it is. I'm impatient. I just click. So the district website is awesome. I mean, it's been revamped and it's so much easier to use. You're going to find the application for the grant to be under the About the District section. And look at that. There's a district grants tab right there. You just click on it.
Hey, Ray,
And,
we're seeing
yeah.
your MSN screen.
Oh, well, maybe. this doesn't show up.
That's the pictures of the project at Muhammad.
Well, let's do this here. We'll just go to the website this way.
Oh,
We can
there
see
you-
it now. Okay.
Yep, you got it. Good job.
Thank you. I don't know. I had it in another tab, and apparently it only shows one tab at a time, or another window at a time. The district grant section is right under the about the district tab, and the application is right in the middle there. The application's been reformatted to be editable. So in the past, it was just a PDF, and then I made some changes this year where you can actually edit the tab or edit the document. Don't be discouraged by the grant name, I would say, because we want to give out these funds as much as we can. I just got word that we're giving away about $45,000 this year, and your club can apply for up to $2,000. And a couple of tips to have a successful grant application get approved. It's always good if your club's contributing funds towards it. Doesn't have to be the case, but it's of course encouraged. And we really like it when your club members are participating in the grant. So we've had some grants where they were able to, this past year, it's been a lot of COVID related grants. So a lot of schools were getting some help with projects. There were some outdoor designs that were being done, some wall murals, paintings, that kind of thing. We had some trees and flowers planted. That all, it looks really good. But the grant's really easy. You just basically fill in some information, tell us what you're wanting to do, give us some financial information about it, as detailed as you can be. Again, things are going to change with the grant as you kind of proceed, and that's okay, we know, but we want to at least have a plan. And then you just save it as a PDF and send it to me. It makes it really easy. These are due by September 1st. So it's July 1 to September 1st. And then when you're done, throughout the grant process, I encourage you to take pictures. So take pictures of it. We like to put them in the newsletter. And then there's a final report that you send to me. Make it really easy. Tell us what you did, who participated. I love you to send this on to me, and then send some pictures along with it if you're able to take some pictures. This needs changed, of course. That's not Heather Stowe anymore. That's me. So I just told her I realized this didn't get changed. So if she gets any of the final reports, she's going to send those on to me. We have a committee of about 8 of us now, and I'm looking for a couple more to add on. I'd like to get to 10 on the committee. I think that's a good number. So if any one of you are interested in being on the committee, let me know. Let me just show you a couple pictures of a project. I think this is the Muhammad project. They were putting together dividers. So they were using a communal space for e-learning, and they needed some dividers. I think they were using it to purchase masks and headsets for kids. So they were able to utilize the funds for that. But that's one of the reports I've gotten back so far this year. We're really lenient this year, and probably into next year may not be able to accomplish the grants within a time frame. So we're good, and you're good until like September, October or so. I can't remember what the exact date was that we extended it out to, but it's being extended. And if you're not able to participate, that's kind of understandable too. We're a little lenient with that, but well, if you have any questions on the grant that you're wanting to write, or wondering if you have a grant idea that may not work or may work, just reach out to me. We can usually find a way to make it work for you. And that is it. That's all I have. Any questions? Anything you want me to help with? I'm going to mute myself here.
Any questions for Ray? Again, when you're the application period is July 1 through they're due September 1. If you have any questions during that time period at all, just give Ray a call or Heather or anybody that's on that district grants team. Let me share my screen real quickly, and let me go through. Let me talk just a little bit little bit about global grants. I don't want to spend a lot of time on global grants, but I thought we'd just touch over it. Global grants are support large international projects with a long-term sustainable outcome in one of the or more of the Rotary's areas of focus, and they can range from $30,000 to $400,000. There is a program of scale that's over $2 million. A recent one was malaria, was a program of scale. Just recognize that there's district qualification required to be able to do a global grant, and that includes the district leaders as well as the club leaders. And there is a memorandum of understanding that needs to be signed off on before global grants can be pursued by the clubs. And there's some training associated with being able to do those memorandum of understanding. If you are thinking about getting involved in a global grant, these are a couple of individuals to talk to. Larry Howell from the Arcola Club is the District Rotary Foundation Chair, and the Global Grants Chair, a counterpart to Ray from a global grant standpoint, is Kevin Yance from Champaign West. There's also projects in the Heart to Heart. That's considered global grants in some cases. There's also club to club grants that are funds that are available as well that work from club to club. The coordinators for the Heart to Heart projects is, of course, Heather Stoa, Larry Howell, and Mike Martin. So if you have some interest in global grants or Heart to Heart projects, those are your contacts for those areas. Any questions associated with global? I just wanted to give you the names out there. If there's interest, you have the information who to talk to on those. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katie and Angela from the Paris Rotary Club to talk a little bit about a In Polio project that we had put together, they had put together last fall for In Polio. So Katie, Angela, it's all yours.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Katie. This is Angela. So I get to be the one that talks all the time because she's a creative mind and I can't do that part. So this is how we roll. So as with most of our Paris projects, this one started with an idea by Mike Stebb. So he approached us before a meeting one day and said, "Hey, have you heard of this Purple Pinky project?" And we said, "No, we had not." And he said, "Well, I want to do a project for In Polio this year, and this is what I'd like to do." So I brought a guy in. He's going to tell you about it today. Pay attention. I want to do this, but I don't have time. You're going to lead it up, right? So we, of course, agreed. So when he approached us with that idea, we had about 3 weeks before World Polio Day. And so we had to hit the ground running. The best move that we made was partnering with a local coffee shop that was husband and wife owned, and they were extremely community-minded people. So when we presented the idea to them, they were all in, and met with us several times to hammer out all the details and gave us guidance on the cost versus pricing and how to maximize our profits for this whole project. So once we got a general idea from them, we presented the idea to our club as a whole and got everyone on board. So then it's time to work out the details. Of course, we wanted our date to be close to the World Polio Day, but we also wanted to hit a weekday when businesses were open, since that was going to be our primary target. We were selling donuts by the dozens. So we chose the Friday before World Polio Day because, according to the coffee shop, that's their biggest business day. So they helped us get a list together of all the businesses in town and kind of who their frequent customers were. And in fact, they took on approaching those people that they knew came into their shop regularly, and they made those sales for us. So what we were working with our, this particular coffee shop partnered with a local donut shop. And this donut shop actually gave us 100 dozen max limit for this project. We had that sold in about a week. So it didn't take hardly any time at all. Donuts are a very easy sell. So that was not a problem. We had our business list together. So we sent our list around at our club meeting at noon, and we had already assigned some people that we knew had the business contacts, and then let them fill in the holes. We sent everyone away with the flyers that Angela had created. The ones that we sent had the pricing information. We offered discounts such as if you purchased 2 dozen or more, you got $1 off per dozen. Plus you were able to get free delivery. So that immediately caused several businesses that were thinking about just purchasing a dozen to go to 2, because they didn't have to send anyone away from their business that morning. We would take it to them. So that was a huge hit with our businesses. Fortunately, the coffee shop got the donut shop to up our max. And by the time it was all said and done, within 3 weeks, we sold 181 dozen donuts. Part of that, we did have 5 dozen of those that the coffee shop allowed us to just sell individually in their shop. For people that were walk-ins just getting coffee, we could raise some money there. They forewent all donut sales for us that day and sold exclusively our Purple Pinky Project donuts, which was tremendous help. Plus they donated a portion of their coffee sales from that day. So once we got all of that lined up, being accountants, we had all of it put in a nice little spreadsheet that had our business and our contact person, how many dozen, if they were picking it up or if they were getting it delivered, which allowed us to kind of figure out our plan for a delivery schedule, how many teams we were going to need. We had a goal of getting everything delivered by 9 a.m. that morning so that, you know, they had it for their breakfast to start their day. So we had 4 or 5 maybe delivery teams of 2, and kind of divvied up by location in town and how many people could handle delivering. So that worked out well. We had a sign up sheet that we took back to our club, and they kind of filled in the holes for who was going to be at the coffee shop to assist with those pickup orders and who was available to be on the delivery team. So they really stepped up and helped us out on the day of on donut day. So when the day came, we had to be up bright and early. 5 a.m. we had to be a half an hour away at the donut shop to pick up these donuts. It took 4 vehicles stacked to maximum capacity to get all of these donuts back to our coffee shop in Paris, which opened at 6 a.m. So fortunately, our coffee shop owners were gracious enough to have complimentary coffee for all of us volunteers. And so we could kind of get hyped back up and ready to go again. We got everything sorted. Our people were great at getting things organized between pickup orders and delivery orders, so that when our volunteers started showing up, we could just have them hit the ground running and go and get these deliveries made. And if they needed to, they could get back to work. So with every order that we had, they got a flyer that had information about polio, information about the virus, what has been done to stop it, some statistics, and why they should why they should donate, because it gave some statistics as to where we would be if this cause stopped, which was pretty interesting. Scary, actually. So anyway, on top of that, we wanted to promote our club and promote Rotary. So we had some club brochures and just Rotary information that went along with each order to try and get some members if we could. So anyway, we hit the ground running. It was go, go, go. And I think it all went smoothly. We had a great team. We didn't have any issues. And probably by 10 a.m., 10:30, everything was picked up and out the door, and we were done.
And ate plenty of donuts that day.
Coffee and donuts, that's what sustained us. So that's just a picture of kind of what it was like. On the left, that's just part of the pickup orders. That's all we could kind of fit out there at one time. We had more in the back, and we just kind of restocked as people picked up. We had several people there that helped us out. You can see all our Rotary information out there, and it was a successful project, and we had a good time. all in all, in the end, with 3 weeks of work, we net $1,500 to be able to send to the In Polio Foundation. So it was for 3 weeks of work, $1,500. That was pretty successful for our small club. Any questions? Anyone thinking about doing it? No.
So I have a question. What is the significance of purple pinky? I haven't heard that term in relation to polio.
We had not either. We got educated on that. So when Rotarians would go to these other countries to vaccinate the people, they would color their pinky purple when they were vaccinated so that they did not double vaccinate anybody.
Mm-hmm. I remember that now. Thank you.
Yes, sure.
Ladies did a great job.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've added mine and Katie's email to the chat in case you guys decide you want to do this. And you might want some of our templates for like the flyers or the brochures and whatnot, or if you have any questions to reach out.
We had talked about expanding this to other clubs this coming year as well. As a side note, I attended the Sunrise Club in Bloomington Normal about the time that we were doing this project, and I had asked, promoted it there, and we actually had, I believe it was like 45 dozen of donuts that went to the Bloomington area. Also had donuts that went to the Decatur area. And some donuts that went to Danville this past year. As Katie and Angela had mentioned, we had 181 dozen total that we had sold. So we may be looking at trying to expand this into other Rotary clubs as well. The donut shop is a smaller donut shop. And we kind of taxed them with 181 dozen. They were frantically getting those donuts out for us. So we may have to look at maybe multiple days rather than trying to do it all in one day as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure they'll agree to that limit next year, so we may need other sources. And I think it was maybe Dunkin' Donuts that were the first ones that designed it. And so the donut shop we worked with, they went out and kind of looked at what it was, and it was a Long John donut. We did a glazed Long John with one end that was icing, purple icing. So they did a great job. It was fun. My daughter thought it was awesome.
Absolutely.
So we had a good time.
Great job pulling that off in 3 weeks. I mean, I've done a number of projects and that's just a lot of planning and coordination. So terrific job.
Thank you.
I'll
Yes.
vouch for it. So my kids like them too. So we got a dozen up here in Bloomington as well.
I missed that. What was that?
Oh, I'll just vouch for your donuts. Our kids
Oh.
like them as well. Yeah.
So any other questions for Angela or Katie or Ray for district grants in polio? Go ahead, Lynn.
I have a question for Ray. Were all of the district grant funds used in the last year or not?
Your questions, were they used or were they distributed? Like the funds were distributed from the
Thank
district
you.
to the
I
club.
understand. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is that what you were asking?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally understand. Thanks.
Yeah, I think with the Ray may have even mentioned this, but with the COVID, there was some of the projects were school related or and may not have been actually utilized for those projects this year. This Rotary year. So we have extended that. You have at least until 1 year from the distribution of the funds to the clubs. And I think the funds got distributed, what, in October, Ray?
Yeah, yeah.
So technically you have 1 year from the distribution of the funds to be able to use those funds. So we'll have until at least the October timeframe to get those funding. So if it was a school project that wasn't able to be utilized in this school year, you still have 2.5, 3 months into the next school year to utilize those funds, if it happened to be a school project type thing. I think most all clubs have done some part, if not all of their project this year. Just a matter of getting the information in, the final report in. Final
Yeah,
report.
yeah. My intention was to kind of follow up midway, and I lost track of time, so I didn't get to like send just a midway checkup with anybody. But a lot of them, if they have concerns, they're asking me, hey, I'm not gonna be able to get this done by this time or whatever. And yeah, I mean, they've got plenty of time to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We have 5 seconds. Any other questions? Okay, well, I guess we're ready to leave the breakout room, and we'll see you on the other side.